My name is Isabelle Townsend. I'm an actress and the mother of 2 daughters. My father was Peter Townsend. In August 1982, when he was 68 years old, he came to Nagasaki to do research for a book. The book features a young postman who survived the atomic bomb. It is called The Postman of Nagasaki. I came to Nagasaki to find out why my father wrote this book. I wanted to have my own experience of what my father saw here. Let me tell you about who my father was. He had a very full life before I was born. As a child, my father dreamt of becoming a pilot and experiencing the freedom of flying through the skies. Then the war began, and my father's dream was fulfilled, ironically as a fighter pilot, when death was always around. He became a group captain in the Royal Air Force and a war hero.
Excitement bubbles like champagne in London as Group Captain Peter Townsend returns from diplomatic duties in Belgium to call on Princess Margaret. Another, possibly a climactic phase, opens in the much-publicized royal romance that's had the Western world agog. The Queen and her family are watched with keenest attention for a hint of what the ultimate decision may be, yes or no.
In view of the difficulties that they faced, the princess and my father decided to end their relationship. I think it was a difficult time in my father's life. A turning point in his life was a 17-month journey around the world. In October 1956, he left alone in his Land Rover. His restless spirit took him around the world, where he met people of unfailing kindness. He wanted to reach out, feel part of the world, to better understand it. This journey was liberating for my father. I think he found himself again. He later married my mother, Marie-Luce, and they moved to France. So he became a writer. I think my dad was a humanitarian, most of all. Of course, he wrote books about the Second World War and his experience as a pilot during the Second World War, which very successful books. But I think he came to a stage in his life where the human in him sort of made him want to become more of an activist. One of his main focus, I should say, was the children victim of war. I think it came to him, the idea came to him when he went to Nagasaki to interview 2 young survivors, 2 children, survivors of the A-bomb. And he realized it was a very moving and painful interview, and I think he was very, very moved by it, and he realized the agony that had taken place. And that's when he decided to do the book about Mr. Taniguchi.
Tout d'abord des invités japonais. deux invités qui ont subi les bombardements atomiques. Monsieur Sumiteru Taniguchi, qui avait 16 ans en août 1945, il travaillait comme télégraphiste pour la poste principale de Nagasaki. Et enfin, Peter Townsend, le héros de la Royal Air Force de la Deuxième Guerre mondiale, c'est un homme de guerre, et pourtant cet homme de guerre s'est beaucoup intéressé au sujet qui nous réunit ce soir. Il a effectué plusieurs séjours au Japon, et au cours de ces séjours, il a rencontré justement son voisin, M. Taniguchi, dont il a raconté toute l'histoire et les souffrances, bien évidemment, dans un livre intitulé « L'enfant de Nagasaki ».
Comme Sumiteru a dit, il a passé 2 jours, 3 jours sur la montagne, à la montagne. Il m'a raconté comme cette trentaine de personnes sont venues de la ville et tous souffrant horriblement. Et puis le lendemain, tous étaient morts. Ce petit garçon de 16 ans s'est trouvé entouré de morts. Mais je voudrais lui demander qu'est-ce qu'il pense de ces hommes qui lui ont fait si mal.
So I started looking for documents and letters and photographs. And I found the tapes. Just had Mr. Taniguchi interview. I mean, of course, there were notes. I realized when I listened to them, I rushed them to a place where to get them digitalized.
Three, two, one. This is the very end of the multi-denominational ceremony at the Peace Park on 8th August. The last reel was talking about the Shinto orchestra. I confirmed it was Shinto. From Little Japanese, the only word he knew was Shinto. And the people on the right of the drum were holding a curious instrument which, with both hands, which went up vertically in front of their faces. And then behind the drums there was one big gong, not a drum, a gong, and then a smaller gong, and the two men on these gongs were beating the rhythm. And that really ended the ceremony at the Peace Park, 8th August.
I hadn't heard my father's voice in 23 years.
How was the trip to New York?
遠いということは言ってますけども、最後の旅として順調感じですね。
被爆から70年という年に、このアメリカ・ニューヨークで、これからスピーチをされるということですけども、今日のスピーチっていうのはどんな気持ちで臨みたいと思ってますか？70年前にできたことをね、頭の中で描きながら、例えばあのことを繰り返しされているということで、伝えていきたいと思います。
Tonight we honor Sumiteru Taniguchi-san and Setsuko Thurlow. They are each courageous leaders of the Hibakusha. They have transformed excruciating physical and emotional pain into powerful forces for nuclear weapons abolition. Sumiteru Taniguchi-san.
皆さん、この写真は半年後の1945年、1946年1月に撮影されたものです。3年7ヶ月の闘病生活の間、1年9ヶ月、うつ伏せの状態で身動き一つできなかったので、胸が床ずれで骨を去りました。胸は今でも胸はえぐりとようになり、肋骨の間から心臓の動いているのが見えます。私はこんな状態で今日まで生きてきました。未来に生きる者たちに青い月を残すため、核兵器は一発も残してはなりません。核兵器廃絶の声を世界に広めましょう。
Friends, let us make this Peace and Planet Conference mark a firm step toward achieving a total ban on nuclear weapons. We must save our blue planet for our future generations. Even a single nuclear weapon should not be allowed to exist. Let us spread our call for the abolition of nuclear weapons all over the world.
No more Hiroshima. No more Nagasaki. No more Hibakusha. No more war. No more. Thank
you very much.
I learned that Taniguchi-san died on August 30th, 2017. Yes. He's here. They are here. Both of them. Still very much with us. I know it. They would be very happy about this. On my first visit to Nagasaki in 1978, to do some research for an earlier book, I questioned two survivors who were children at the time of the A-bomb.
Sumiteru Taniguchi was only 1 year old when his mother Kiku died. Though her disappearance had no meaning for him at the time, it would later be heavy with consequence. Not so much because it deprived him of her maternal care, as because his father, Sadamachi, took him and his brother and sister from their home at Fukuoka on Kyushu, the most westernly of Japan's 4 main islands, to live with their grandmother in Nagasaki, 60 kilometers away. It was left to their grandmother to rear the 3 children, Keiko, then a girl of 7, Teiji, a 3-year-old boy, and the infant Sumiteru. Nagasaki was unlike any other town in Japan. It was a port. In 1570, Portuguese ships had put in there. From Holland, China, England, and Spain came more ships, and in the wake of the seamen and traders, there followed Franciscan and Jesuit missionaries. I've come to Nagasaki 40 years after my father's first visit, hoping to find the places he had seen. The summer in Nagasaki is a time of remembrance. On August 9th, there is the Atomic Bomb Memorial Day. Also in August, the Obon Festival honors the spirits of the dead. In households where family members have died recently, boats called shorobune are built to carry their spirits to the other world. Taniguchi-san lived in a house halfway up Mount Inasa, a landmark of Nagasaki. Until a road was built, he used these steps every day to go to work. My father also walked up these steps and counted about 200 of them. 200 steps. Shrine. Hi, Nagasaki. After the long climb, Karasui-wa Shrine offers a spectacular view of the city. Isabelle. Very nice to meet you. Yes.
暑い中どうも。お疲れ様です。Yes. どうぞ。
Thank you.
はい。
Thank you.
どうぞどうぞ。どうぞ。深く。いきます。
Okay. I gotta push. I would have liked to meet him. Very much I would like to meet him, but...
会いたかったでしょうけどね、父も。
Yes, yes, me too, very much, yes.
で父がね、大事に持ってたんですよね。
Nice friendship. Nice friendship. My father spent many hours interviewing Taniguchi-san in this room.
Today is the 20th August 1982. I am with Sumiteru Taniguchi in his home. He says that he was a naughty boy. He got up to many tricks. He left school in 1943 because he had to go to work. So he joined the post office service at the age of 14 and became a very young postman. At that time, he was still a very small boy, short, and he could hardly reach the pedals. There are many steps on these hillsides here, and so Sumiteru, when he came to the steps, he jumped off his bike, slung it over his shoulder, walked or ran up the steps, and on the way down he would ride his bicycle down the steps, bump, bump. The bicycle was read, all the post office things are read as in England.
No. Comme ça?
Voilà.
Et comme ça?
点々ば書いてほら。右上に点々でしょ。
Like this?
点ほら。
Ah.
今度は E 点字を書いて。
Picture. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Schools made arrangements for hundreds of children to draw their vision of peace on candles. Many people gather here to pray for peace. I felt very lucky to be among them.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Isabelle-san.
Yes,
Isabelle-san, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Welcome to Nagasaki.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
My name is Tasaki, Noboru Tasaki. I helped your father as an interpreter 36 years ago.
Oh my God.
Oh. I don't remember all, but
It was a long time ago.
Mr. Taniguchi, not the talkative man, you know.
Yes. Oh, really?
Yes,
I thought he was talkative, but he was not so talkative. Okay, interesting.
So your father must be patient.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and he used the tape recorder.
Yes.
When he interviewed.
And so you, right?
But not only that, but he was sometimes, you know, what do you say, recording the atmosphere of the nature, the wind, you know, the wind, and the smell of flower, or what to say, even the singing birds. So he was always keen about that.
I rediscovered my father in Nagasaki. During his long hours of work there, he was able to find solace in nature. I found a cassette that contained only sounds of birds and animals.
Le 9 août 1945, on voit l'avion, le bombardier américain, le Boeing 29, Il était parti de Tinian, l'île de Tinian, récemment recapturée, reprise par les Américains, et la cible prioritaire était une ville nommée Kokura. Et à cause du mauvais temps, Kokura était couverte de nuages. Le pilote, l'avion a fait demi-tour et a mis le cap sur Nagasaki, qui était la cible secondaire.
Hundreds of thousands of children and so much love destroyed in just a few instants. How can that be possible? How can that be possible? As he turned into the street, he saw children in white shirts playing. They saw him too. He was their friend who passed by every day. They waved to him. "Hello, Sumiteru. See you tomorrow." At that instant, the children and everything else around him disappeared in a blinding flash, bluish white like a gigantic arc lamp, and accompanied by deafening, unearthly thunder. Survivors would remember it as picadon, the flash boom. Then all was dust and darkness as a wind more violent than any typhoon blasted Sumiteru off his bicycle and hurled him to the ground some meters away. Through the murk, he glimpsed small white shapes, reminding him of leaves scattered by an autumn wind, being swept along the ground until they came to rest and lay still. They were the children who had just waved to Sumiteru.
We are now in Shumyoshi-cho, and this is the area. There was a road in this district where Taniguchi was hit by the atom bomb. This is a very built-up area, lots of merchant shopkeepers, flower shops, the flower shop very near me here.
It is the 21 August 1982 today, and I'm in the home of Mr. Taniguchi. We're back to 11 o'clock on the 9th of August 1945.
After the light came the blast, and he was hit by the blast, and the earth seemed to be vibrating. He was thrown forward 3 meters. He felt very frightened that he was going to die on the spot, but on the other hand, he said to himself, "I am not going to die. I refuse to die, I will not die." As he stood up,
as he got to his feet that he realized how badly he was burnt, at least on the arms. He saw that his skin was hanging off his arms. Now he passed by the Mitsubishi women's dormitory, and then the road leads up to the Mitsubishi torpedo factory. On arrival at the Mitsubishi tunnel, torpedo factory in the tunnel, there were a few people at the entrance, but he didn't notice that they were particularly injured. A woman worker came towards him, and so he asked her, please, will you cut the skin she's hanging from her arm? Will you please cut it off? Which she did, and the front of his shirt was still hanging around his neck, so he took it off, and using it as a rag, he dipped it in oil used for the machines, and the woman rubbed this oil over his burns on his arm and his back. About half an hour later, a middle-aged worker came up to him and said, look, young fellow, this is dangerous here. There are many munitions in this factory and so on. There may be another attack. So you would better get up the hill to a shelter. And this man picked up this young boy of 16 and carried him piggyback. And it was up this hill that the young boy was carried. He was left 2 nights in the mountain, lying on the grass, with nothing to eat. The other less fortunate people were characteristically crying out for something to drink, but of course there was nothing to drink. But during that night, it rained, and Sumiteru managed to fashion a leaf and catch some water and swallow these few drops of water. So during that afternoon of the 9th and through the night of the 9th and into the morning of the 10th, these people continued to die, and when light came on the morning of the 10th, this young boy found that he was the only one of the 30 people still alive. He looked around him, and he found himself surrounded by about 30 dead people. The only thing he could think of was of something to drink and to eat. About 8:30 or 9 o'clock on the morning of the 11th, he was found by the rescue corps. When the aid corps, the rescue people arrived, they said nothing to him.
Is that Sumiteru Taniguchi? Maybe it is. I think it is. I think it's Sumiteru.
I knew that everything I was seeing he had seen too. His voice led me to where I should look.
Just before turning into the road, the avenue Santos, which Nagai had the trees and flowers planted, I can see from here the Urakami Church. I'm now passing in front of the Nagai house, that tiny little house. As he says, for the first time, Christianity faced the bomb. Very few Christians in Hiroshima at that time, about a couple of thousand, about 20,000 in Nagasaki. Bomb destroyed their valley, that is the valley where the Christians live, and of course their church. And after, when they were clearing away the debris, they found several bodies, thousands of bodies, around, all around the church. And on the roads to the churches, and it was discovered that these thousands of people were rushing or hurrying as best they could towards the church in order to die in the precincts of the church. There were Christians and non-Christians.
You are my friends if you do what I command you. Today, Jesus invites us to enjoy peace, the fruit of love, in our hearts, in our families, between husband and wife, parents and children, in our religious communities.
At the church was a statue of Mary that survived the bomb.
Bonjour madame,
Bonjour,
enchanté, c'est Joseph Takami, archevêque de Nagasaki.
Je suis ravie de vous rencontrer.
Ils ont mis finalement 30 ans pour achever la construction de cette église Urakami, mais 30 ans, non 30 ans, c'est rare qu'au Japon.
C'est beaucoup, non?
Beaucoup,
c'est énorme.
C'est incroyable. Mais 20 ans après exactement, ça a été démoli. Ça a été détruit par la bombe.
C'est incroyable.
Ils ne savaient pas comment expliquer cette destin ou destination.
Oui, ce destin
bien,
quand même très
Dur.
perturbé.
Oui. 8400 sur 12 000 paroissiens ici ont été tués.
Oui.
Puis moi-même, j'étais dans le sein de ma mère à ce moment-là. Ma mère elle habitait un peu loin dans les montagnes.
Donc vous n'étiez pas encore né, mais vous étiez donc dans...
Oui, peut-être j'avais 3 mois, peut-être, dans le sein de ma mère.
D'accord.
Elle est venue chercher sa famille, mais 3 jours après. Mais il a été contaminé, non?
D'accord.
Alors c'est pour ça moi aussi j'étais...
Vous avez été...
supposé d'être là. Et il y avait des jeunes filles, par exemple, qui avaient subi la bombe, qui étaient un peu blessées ou brûlées, etc. Non? Et les gens croyaient que sans fondement, que la contamination continuait, comme ça influence en tout cas la santé, etc. Alors les jeunes filles qui voulaient se marier, mais ils ont été souvent refusés.
Et aujourd'hui, il y a encore probablement un certain...
une espèce de préjugé.
Comme un préjugé, des préjugés encore assez forts aujourd'hui. Donc c'est... In 1949, after 3.5 years of medical treatment, Taniguchi-san returned to his job at the post office. Like many hibakusha, he had difficulty finding a spouse. He often thought of taking his own life, but somehow he found the strength to continue. When Eiko-san became pregnant, Taniguchi-san worried about what effect radiation might have on their child.
もしかしたらと不正に生まれるんじゃないかな、生まれないんじゃないかなと思って、まずから子供がね、生まれればと思ってね。
In the summer of 1957, their first child, Sumie, was born. She was a healthy baby.
取り上げて抱いた時はどういうふうな気持ちになったんですか？
満足に生まれてくれてよかったな。
2 years later, their son Hideo was born. Taniguchi-san had become the father of 2 children. In the summer of 1963, when Sumie was 6 and Hideo not far from his 4th birthday, Eiko and Sumiteru took them for the first time to the seaside. "Quick!" exclaimed Sumie. "Let's go into the sea." "Yes, quick, into the sea," echoed Hideo, who loved the water even more than his sister. Fat, billowing clouds drifted across the sky, sweeping the beach with fleeting shade. It was not the kind of intense sunlight in which Sumiteru felt he must wear his shirt for protection. At the children's cry, "Let's go and swim," he pulled off his shirt, took each one by the hand and led them towards the water. After a few paces, he felt Sumie's small hand tugging at his. She broke loose from his grasp and ran back to her mother. A pace or 2 further, Hideo, panicked by his sister's flight, did the same. Sumiteru walked back to Eiko, who was doing her best to console her children. "What's the matter?" he asked her. "Why all those tears?" He put his arms round both children. "Listen to me," he said. "I'm going to tell you something. My body, when I was small, used to be just like yours and all these other people. Then, when I was a boy of 16, a thing called an atom bomb made a very terrible fire in Nagasaki and burnt down most of the city. Thousands of people, some as young as you, were killed and burnt. I was one of them. People like me are called hibakusha. We are the ones who were hurt by that fiery atom bomb, but are still alive. We want everyone else to see how badly it wounded and burnt our bodies, and to listen to us. Because only we can tell them how awful it is to be hit by an atom bomb. Sumie and Hideo had stopped crying and were listening intently to their father. "Now listen, my little ones. I'm going to take off my shirt again, so that when I walk through these crowds in the water, anybody who wants to can see what the atom bomb did to a young boy and thousands of other poor people, many of them babies like you. It's not my fault that I have such ugly scars, and so I'm not ashamed of them. So try to be brave, both of you, and stay with me. There are thousands of more ibakusha like me. We want people to know all about the dreadful thing that was done to us, so that they will never allow it to happen again.
Taniguchi-san gained the strength to accept his condition, which must have been liberating. It was the strength to move forward with his life. I never imagined for 1 second the love my father had for me would bring me all the way here. I feel it with every step I take.
J'ai passé 6 semaines à Nagasaki. J'ai marché des vingtaines de kilomètres, j'ai grimpé les marches. C'était le mois d'août, j'ai perdu, je crois, 5 kilos et je ne pèse pas très lourd. Il faisait très chaud, mais je voulais absolument connaître cette ville et la sentir. Je crois qu'un des rôles, ou le rôle de certains écrivains, y compris parfois les romanciers, c'est de témoigner. Et je me trouve obligé de témoigner. J'ai fait la guerre, j'ai tué des hommes, et maintenant je vois que la guerre, très souvent, touche, enfin presque toujours, touche aux innocents. Je souhaite très très vivement de tout cœur que les guerres se terminent et surtout qu'il n'y ait aucune chance d'une guerre nucléaire. Cela m'a amené à écrire ce livre sur Nagasaki.
My body and soul were filled with emotions I can't describe. My wish is to follow in my father and Taniguchi-san's footsteps.
It's heavy boat. Heavy boat.
Happy boat?
Soul boat.
I like that it's a joyful ceremony and not a sad one. And I'm grateful to be able to say farewell to Taniguchi-san.
I felt I needed to do something about what I had understood about
what my father went to Nagasaki for.
At that instant, the children and everything around me disappeared in a blinding flash. Before I hit the ground, something like a cannonball struck me in the back. For some moments, I lay still, wondering whether I was alive or dead. Then I became aware of an odd sensation. The earth was trembling beneath me. I realized I must be alive. I forced myself to think. No, I murmured aloud. No, I'm not going to die. Not here. I refuse.
Saying goodbye to Taniguchi-san somehow reconnected me with my father. He has come back into my life. I feel his spirit nearby, and his voice is now more present. You know, when I hear a little plane like that, I think of my father. That was really his passion. It was his passion.